Scientists piece together the past using small bits of evidence, but once in a while, they get a lot of evidence, all at once. This is Siberia, 42,000 years ago, when mammoth herds roamed the steppe. Even though this scene is peaceful, the world could be dangerous for a baby mammoth. One baby died when she was a month old, suffocating in the mud on the bank of a river. Her discovery was a once-in-a-lifetime event for Dan Fisher, who has spent his career studying mammoths and mastodons.
Luba was found by a family of Nenets reindeer herders. These are nomadic people that follow their herds of reindeer on an annual cycle that covers hundreds of kilometers. They were down near the riverbank collecting wood for fire and saw in the distance a small body that looked at first like it could be one of their reindeer, a calf or something. But as they approached, they realized that it had a trunk and was most definitely not a reindeer.
The herder traveled to the nearest town to tell the authorities, and they moved the baby mammoth to the local museum as quickly as possible. They named her Luba after the herder's wife. Except for the loss of most of her fur, she was almost perfectly preserved.
She died when she fell into a mud hole along an ancient riverbank and choked on sediment that got into her mouth and trunk. It turns out, though, that the mud that enclosed her body contained bacteria, certain bacteria that were capable of producing a mild acid that actually had a pickling effect on her tissues, preserving them over the next few months and years. Shortly after that, the cold conditions of the far north enveloped her in what's called permafrost.
Scientists around the world were excited to hear about Luba.
My first thoughts on seeing her were just the amazement that she was really all there, that she was so complete and well preserved. Then, of course, there's anticipation, all the questions that we'll be able to answer about her.
They used high-tech equipment to scan her, and they carefully removed samples for study. They wanted to know how she died, what she ate, whether she was healthy, and how she kept warm in the cold winters.
One of the things that struck me immediately was this large hump on the back of her neck, which turns out to be a fat deposit, and from the evidence we have now, a very special kind of fat, known as brown fat, that's important in mammals in controlling body temperature.
For years, scientists tried to learn about the lives of mammoths and mastodons by studying their tusks and teeth. Luba proved that they were on the right track.
The picture of health and normal growth that we see in her tusk and tooth record matches exactly what we see in her anatomy. The reason this validation of tusk and tooth analysis is important is that, in fact, most of our information about the lives of mammoths and mastodons comes from tusks. Luba has basically helped us build confidence in our ability to interpret that tusk record.
Teams of scientists from around the world continue to study Luba, and their discoveries will reveal new things about mammoths that we didn't know before.